And the honest truth to me is simple, that we can accuse each other, we can point fingers. The question is, who is actually better off? I'm a northerner, I'm from Kano State, and I have been accused by colleagues and brothers in a very civil political discussion of dominating the polity, dominating the economy, and dominating the security. So I ask the question, if I dominate the polity, I have the president, yes, I have the executive council and appointees that are constitutional, just like every other state. But what is my economic situation? And what is my security situation today? So the question is it working for me if I dominate somebody? It's not. The question is, look at all the indices of development. The North today is actually worse off. Security, education, prosperity, development, I don't know. What have you? The North is not very well positioned. In fact, other parts of the country that have been pushed off in opposition space have managed to organize themselves into a survival mode and come up with a credible economic and development model. So I will say to you that, look, I think this country needs to be reviewed, and I think need to be fairly and equitably structured. I've always advocated for what I call development federalism. Development federalism, in my view, is a consensus by the 6 regions and Abuja to create a development template over time and devolve power gradually to the regions and to the states. The truth of the matter is, we all need to go back to our states. If all the states are working, the federation will be working, because development is not in isolation. Everywhere you go is either a local government or the state. So if you devolve power to the local government and to the states, and then create an economic investment template in the form of development federalism, which basically bring the potential of South-South to be an oil and gas hub in Africa, we will stop importing petroleum products. We will stop importing things that we should be exporting, and we will become net exporters of that product. The Southeast, we all know, are very ingenious people with technology, manufacturing, and trading. Please, let us invest heavily. Let us leverage on our resources to and raise the capital to invest heavily in manufacturing, so that we don't import things from India. We don't import things from China. We import and we produce these things we need for agriculture and for our transportation and other industrial machinery in the East. It's doable. I've been to Newi, I've been to the industrial hub of Aba. I have seen what the East can do. We will be proud to say, made in Aba, produced in Aba, made in Nigeria. And we will all be proud citizens. And the economy of the East will be a net contributor to the center. The same thing with the Southwest. Southwest dominantly is a manufacturing and marine economy. Singapore is exactly like that. And therefore, if we develop the marine economy, the ports, and the manufacturing base of the Southwest, we will be net exporters of goods and services and service providers in marine. And therefore, the Southwest economy will become net contributor. If you take the 3 regions of the North, Central, East, and West, and you take the 3 countries of Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam, our economy is almost the same thing. So, and these countries are booming individually. If you invest today in these regions in agriculture, agro-processing, and organized market with the standards for export, standard for feeding Africa, we're even lucky that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is in effect. We have the whole of African market to ourselves and the world. We will be one of the richest regional zones in Nigeria. Therefore, the North will now become net contributor to the center. And Abuja can maintain our sovereignty, can maintain our identity, can maintain our defense, can maintain our currency, and we raise the flag. Now I am saying honestly, the structure of this country is not working. I don't want to be accused even when I am suffering. I want my people to wake up and rise up and feel proud, just like every other Nigerian will feel proud when that sense of ownership is created. We should review. After all, the amalgamation has expired and the constitution is to be reviewed by the National Assembly. So the question is, what is the process? Now there are 3 different dynamics going on. The first one is the National Assembly has set up a very, very credible committee reviewing constitution. The question is, can they change Nigeria to a point where they can change the such that the structure can say, we don't want two bodies in the National Assembly? Can they do it? We want to save cost and have only one unicameral body. Can they do it? So can they meet the aspiration of this change? Waking up to create a platform for this competition. And the third one is the one we don't want. It's eruption, it's anarchy. And that is important. And when you mention that DSS is talking about anarchy, I get very worried because we're almost there already. That citizens are advocating for change in an undemocratic way is not where we want to be. So the government of today should actually honestly review its position, and the National Assembly, as I said, with the political parties, both PDP and APC as the major parties and other parties, to sit down and say, how do we do this peacefully? We all love each other. We all are Nigerians. We all respect each other. At individual level, we all have friends across the whole country. And honestly, everybody wants to have a giant, functional, proud country called Nigeria in Africa. Not only Nigerians, the whole black are looking up to us to provide leadership. We are better up together, but we need to have a functional structure.
If there are several other people up north who have views such as yours, then they ask natural questions. So why are you not speaking up? Are they actually talking to the presidency to understand that, look, this is what people hear, this is what people feel, this is what people think should go on, if we need to pull together as one?
Well, I think, honestly, this is a process. This is an evolutionary process for us in the North. You know, I mean, decades back, if I sit down here and say to you that I want this country restructured, if I go back to Kano, I probably will be, stoned or harassed. But I can tell you now that the reality of the country's structure is down on everybody, that it's not workable. And this is one of the factors that made us realize all of that. We used to think that it is about getting a super leader, a credible leader that can move this country forward. And we actually bask in the Europia of, oh, he is our president. And I think in history of this country, there was never an individual, and there still has not, we haven't had one, that has enjoyed the support of the ordinary people, that has raised the hope of everybody, that has the credibility to say that his individual credibility will rub on the country leadership than President Muhammadu Buhari. And the North rooted for him for decades and spent money and time and invested so much in his becoming the president of this country. Today, we are discussing all the challenges the country is facing under the same President Muhammadu Buhari. So we are coming to the realization that it's not about individuals now. It's about the system. It's about the fact that the system is cobbled in such a way that there is what I will call a pull him down syndrome. There is internal squabbles for power and positions. There are forces working counterproductively for the way the country moves forward. And all of those forces emanates from those regional dynamics. The sense, real or otherwise, of marginalization, the sense of domination, the sense of opportunity and patronage is skewed to one part of the country or one ethnic groups. And all of these perceptions are becoming reality in our life. Reality in the sense that there are examples we can show. Another most important thing was that the president was perceived to be, like we said, a general, but also a very, very credible anti-corruption crusader. He has stated this, he has demonstrated this, he has lived this. And now we are witnessing that the system can actually leak and can invite people who can actually be marauders that can wreak havoc on the system. Unfortunately, the president's capacity and individual integrity did not stop all of that. So we are coming to a point where we are saying, you know what, it's not working anymore. And I'm not alone in this. I can assure you.
Are you making
there are quite a number of
excuses?
young,
Are you making excuses for the president? Because there's people who will say that he hasn't quite exercised fully the position or the powers that his office bequeaths on him. So, for instance, you talk about agitations. The people who have talked about appointments, for instance, how the appointments the president has made is not reflective of the diversity of the country. I mean, when you look at the ethnic groupings, for instance, that's one. Even women complain about how they have not been sufficiently represented in the president's cabinet. Let's even take the cabinet, or not to now talk of the government in general. So has the president exercised to the full extent the credibility that he brought on board, the powers that his office bestows on him? Have we fully explored that first? The fact that oftentimes things happen, we don't get to hear consequences. Cabinet reshuffling hasn't exactly taken place. I could see in other administrations, not that they yielded much fruit, but at least it would seem that there was some consequence if there were any reportage for misdemeanors or questions to be asked about what was going on in ministries, departments, and agencies. Have we seen that yet?
I have just said to you that one of our despair is that the president hasn't manifested as the General Muhammadu Buhari we voted for. And therefore, like you rightly observed, Mofe, that he has not applied himself as his attribute, as he was known. In fact, we always joke within the cycle of a young generation that we voted for General Muhammadu Buhari and we have President Muhammadu Buhari. Two very different people. And honestly speaking, you've always highlighted that, cabinet appointments, oppositions is skewed towards a section of the country and people. I can tell you one thing, we are complaining about that too. What is important is it is skewed towards incompetent people. There are people in this administration that are not capable of managing their space. They are brought. We have a history of this administration. There were days we discussed about cabals running this country. We all knew many people came on board during those days and how they came on board. I'm sorry to say that is where the foundation of the problem started. And because this administration, like you rightly pointed out, has not restructured itself, has not purged itself of some of these people, we still live today paying the price of those people's incompetence. It is unfortunate that honestly we are suffering. Look, you can say anything you want about that it's our party, it's our government, it's our president. Yes, the KPIs are very clear. The KPIs after 6 years, we have only 2 more years. Next year, by now, it will be full political storm in this country. Nobody will be talking about the president's and the development agenda. I am telling you, it is time for stock taking. As a party and as a government, I will say that we have lost a golden opportunity to translate those personal attributes of Mr. President of anti-corruption, military experience, and his passion for the poor to lift people out of poverty, to secure the lives of people, and to fight corruption in this country.
How widely shared are these sentiments that you express so boldly on television? How widely shared is that within the ranks of the APC?
Oh, Mope, I want to tell you that I actually was relieved of my position as Commissioner of Works in Kano because of the same view. And I still stand by them. This country should be ruled democratically. This country should be ruled equitably and justly. And competent people should be brought on board our administration so that we will not be in this situation we are discussing now. And I want to say something very important. As much as we keep talking about what Buhari should do, I want to let especially generations from my age downward know that these gentlemen have been around for 40 years. Nigeria has given them everything. most of the generations in power today were around 1999. So I will say this very clearly, another bold statement. I'm calling on young political generation, young Nigerians, to find a coordination platform, not to agitate for an anti-democratic changes, but to harness our energy towards a very credible democratic change. We will not and we should not succumb to the political machinations of these generations that has put us in this situation. We must find the platform at our local government level and at our state level to coordinate ourselves. We are greater in number, and democracy is about number. We should find a common ground, and we already have. And the common ground is simple: a functional, respected, and democratic Nigeria. We need that to happen, and the only way we can do that is to do 2 or 3 things. One, at our local government level, start organizing ourselves, women and youth, and take positions of party and contest. At state level, that is the most important part of this federation. We're doing our best in Kano to coordinate young people to create the necessary shift in the paradigm of power and the change we desire to see. In Nigeria, we need to apply ourselves properly so that we make a bid for the leadership of this country, even as other elders are also making a bid for it. There are only 2 outcomes. 1, we negotiate our space, or 2, we win the space. If we do this, we can change Nigeria. But before we do all of that, we have to agree on a one democratic, indivisible, restructured, functional, and respected nation.